Party people! Too excited, too much? Who cares? Today we're making Winifred Sanderson's spell book, and I am amped about it because this is something I've been wanting to share with you guys for years. I had one, it fell apart, so now it's time to make a new one. Let me show you what you're going to need because let me tell you, you're going to want to make this. It's amazing. I picked up this book from Hobby Lobby. It's originally $19, but I got it for 50% off. You're also going to need some of this really thin yarn or some black puffy paint, a sponge for painting, of course, some tissue paper or paper towels if you don't have any. This makes the book kind of look skin-like. You also need some sculpting clay. Make sure it's the kind that dries out. And an eyeball, of course, for the eye on the book. I found these at Michael's. And then you're going to need some paints. I did 3 colors just to give my book a little more depth. And you're also going to need just a gray piece of paper or a white one, and you can paint it gray if you want. So the first thing I'm going to do, since I have to throw the clay into the oven to cook for, I think it's at 275 degrees for 15 minutes, I'm going to roll out the sculptures on the book. So there are 2 squiggly looking snakes. Well, actually, there's 3 snakes. There's a lot of snakes on this Hocus Pocus book. I guess because they're witches, right? They're snaky. And then there's like a circle closure. You'll see what I'm talking about. Do you see my phone right there? That is a picture of my old Hocus Pocus book, which was actually, fun fact, it was a treat bag. We were Hocus Pocus characters a few years ago for Halloween. It was my all-time favorite day ever. So here I go, showing you how I'm making all of these snakes. So after I rolled out my snakes, I took a toothpick and just put these holes in the snakes. I'm not exactly sure why I did this. I just know that when I made the book the first time, I did a lot more research, and for some reason, I did it the first time. Maybe to make the snakes look more lifelike, but they don't. So do what you want. I also spent an embarrassingly long time putting these dots and lines in this ring. I have to remind myself, and you, if you make this is going in your house, not a museum. So it doesn't have to look perfect. Okay, so here I am showing you the inspiration. That is my old book, halfway done. The snakes that I'm going to be making for the sides of the books, the corners, and they look kind of complicated, but they're not. Look, I already did one, so you can just go off that model. Just kidding. I will show you how it's done. The first one came out blurry, so this is your one and only shot to learn. You just loop-de-loop it, stick that through, and throw a head on, and you're good to go. So I was putting the sculptures on the book just to make sure everything looked right. And now I'm putting them on a baking sheet. Well, they're on wax paper right now. And then I'm going to throw them in the oven, 275 for 15 minutes. That's all it takes. And when they come out, they're going to dry and they're going to be hard and beautiful and perfect. And they're never going to break. So the next step is to cover the book while that stuff is in the oven. So I'm just putting some glue in a bowl and I'm grabbing my tissue paper and I'm crinkling it up to try to make it look like wrinkles, like very wrinkly, because this book is made out of old skin. I think. I'm pretty sure Winifred said in the movie that this book is made out of skin. They sell at craft stores, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, probably Joann's. They have leather, and it's fairly inexpensive that you can buy. They have like a quarter fabric, whatever it's called. I'm not sure. I didn't get it. I didn't splurge for it, but I did have glue and tissue paper, and for me, that works just as well. So I just covered the book with a little bit of glue with the paint sponge that I had, and then I'm covering it with my wrinkled up tissue paper, easy peasy, and I'm covering the whole thing. You could just, make the cover, but I bought this whole book, which you could also buy like a wooden book from Michael's or Joann's. They have them for like $6 or $7, but I found this one. It was larger and it was more of the size that I was looking for. I found this one at Hobby Lobby. Also, I want to mention that I put 2 layers of the tissue paper on here. You can also use paper towels if you don't have tissue paper. Anything I'm sure will work. You can probably use paper if you don't have anything else. I don't know, use what you have. Also, you might not need 2 layers of tissue paper. I think 1 would have been fine because this was better quality tissue paper. However, I don't want this stuff to tear. You can also use any color because we're going to paint over it. Here I am showing you how durable the pieces can be once they are out of the oven. We get it, Kim, put it down. The next step, first of all, can we just marvel over the fact that this book looks so cool just in black? I almost wanted to keep it that way, but anyway, I had to make it look like Winifred's. So I'm grabbing my hot glue gun to kind of add the texture to it. I'm not even sure what these lines are supposed to be. I should probably Google it. But it looks like the book, so we're staying true to fashion. And I just used a lot of hot glue to make the lines like 3D-esque. You know what I mean? Before we painted it, I put the sculptures on there to make sure I had the layout just right. Now I'm taking them off and I'm starting my paint job. I'm using the base color. It's like a metallic-y, I don't know. It's supposed to be skin tone, right? Because it's skin. Skin isn't metallic, but you use what color you want. I liked this color. I'm not even sure why. I did 2 coats of this paint. As you can see, the lighting kind of changed and just everything looks better in this clip, don't you think? So that's more true to what the color actually looks like. Now I'm going in with like a highlight color, and this color was not exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's very gold, a lot more yellowish undertones, but I worked with it, and in the end, I think it looked really nice. Maybe go with a lighter tone yellow if you're going to do this yourself, but this is what I had, so I made it work. So I just highlighted the areas, and then in a second, you're going to see me go in with a darker color, more of a deep brown, and I just go over the glue, the glued portion. Whoa, doesn't that look so good? I love the different colors. It just brings out more depth to it. So now I'm taking the yarn that I have and cutting it into very teeny tiny pieces, and I should have made them smaller, but I remember last time this process was such a task, and even this time around it took me probably an hour to put all of these little stitches on. It's supposed to be stitches. Oh, that's what the hot glue is. They're cuts in the skin and they're stitched together. Okay, now it's all making sense. It's all coming back to me. It's all coming back now. Anyone know that song? I was about to sing it, but I've got a cold, so I spared you. Well, I spared myself the embarrassment. Okay, so I'm just, I showed you guys tweezers. You could use tweezers if you're fancy. I'm not. You guys know this. So I used my fingers and some glue, and I just coated the string in glue and put them on there, put the little black stitches on there, some lines, some X's, no O's, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm very aware that you could use puffy paint, and it would take probably a quarter of the time. I'm not even sure why I decided to use string yarn again, but I did. It doesn't make it authentic. It's not like actual stitches, but anyway, enjoy. Now things are getting real. It's almost done. Finishing touches now. I'm just putting the clay pieces on there, making sure they're in a good spot. And then I'm going to grab my hot glue gun and secure the pieces down with some hot glue. And then I'm pretty sure it's over with. So stinking cool, right? I love it. Okay, it could be over with if you just did the front cover of the book, but I bought like a whole 3D book, so I'm just adding some binding to the bind, and then I'm going to paint that and paint the back, and then I'll show you what it looks like, the final product, even though you already saw it in the beginning. But thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out. I hope you guys make this. If you do, make sure to show me on Instagram or something. I would love to see it there, to see your wonderful creations. But I will see you and hang out with you next time. Bye.